Officially pregnant. Military cash secured. That moron can't run now. My girlfriend tried to trap me while I was deployed. 5,000 miles away for 9 months. The math didn't add up. I commented 3 words. Who's the father? Her whole life collapsed instantly. Hey Reddit, buckle up because this one still feels unreal to type. I'm Max, 30 male, never thought I'd end up in the middle of a viral mess involving my girlfriend, my neighbor, and a pregnancy that couldn't even pass basic math. What started as a single Instagram comment turned into the wildest chain of events I've ever seen. Lies, screenshots, cops, and a baby named DJ. Let's just say the truth didn't need my help catching up. It sprinted on its own. It was 3 a.m. on deployment, the kind of quiet where even the generators sound like background noise. I was sitting in my little metal box of a room, phone plugged into the wall, half asleep and just doom scrolling. The internet out here is trash, so you learn to take what you can get, usually memes, old messages, or photos from home. That night, I opened Instagram, expecting nothing new. Instead, I saw a post that made my brain short-circuit. 3 months pregnant, can't wait to cash in on all that military money, #secure the bag. The photo looked like something out of a Target ad. Pink and blue balloons, her hand on her belly, smiling like she just won the lottery. The caption hit me harder than the desert sun. 3 months along, 3 months. I did the math, then did it again. I've been deployed for 8. Last time I saw her was January. It's now September. I'm sitting in a country where the temperature at night still hits 90, eating military rations, and apparently I've been promoted to ghost father. I stared at my phone, just blinking. Then I typed the only comment that came to mind. Who's the father? Hit send. I didn't think much of it until my phone started vibrating like it was possessed. Notifications pouring in like a busted faucet. Comments flying under her post. People tagging me, laughing, arguing, doing the math in real time. Someone wrote, "Bro, isn't he deployed?" Another said, "The math ain't mathing." Within minutes, her whole comment section turned into a digital war zone. My buddy Ramirez was on watch with me, saw my face, and leaned over. "What's up?" My girlfriend just announced a pregnancy," I said. He blinked. "Congrats. Except I've been here 8 months." His eyes widened. "Oh, damn. You serious?" "Dead serious." He grabbed his phone, scrolled, and whistled. "Bro, she's getting roasted. Everyone's tagging you. This is going viral." I checked again. Hundreds of comments already. Someone screenshotted my comment and posted it to Facebook, then Twitter. Within half an hour, there were memes. When your deployment math doesn't math. Plot twist. Immaculate conception. By the time my shift ended, I had 70+ DMs. Friends, cousins, even a guy from high school I hadn't talked to in years. My mom was calling at 3 a.m. her time, panicking. My sergeant pulled me aside later and asked if I needed to talk to someone. Yeah, maybe a priest. The best part? Riley's mom, Deborah, commented on the post before it got deleted. "So proud of my baby. Drake will be such a good father." Drake. Not Max. I'm Max. That was the cherry on top. I thought maybe I was hallucinating from lack of sleep. But nope, everyone saw it. Screenshots were everywhere. The internet doesn't miss. Riley must have realized what was happening, because she tried to delete the post. Problem was, her phone apparently crashed mid-deletion. People caught the live edits, reposted everything. She was stuck in digital purgatory, trying to erase a scandal while 10,000 strangers preserved it forever. The DMs kept coming in. Some people sent sympathy. Others sent memes. A few sent screenshots of her private replies, where she tried telling people I was fine with it. Oh, I was fine, all right. Fine enough to start saving every single screenshot. By morning, she'd gone private. Too late. Screenshots were everywhere. Even pages I didn't follow were reposting it. One meme had my comment in giant letters across the top. "Who's the father?" Underlined with a laughing emoji. I showed Ramirez. He nearly choked on his breakfast. "Bro, you're famous," he said. "Yeah," I said, "for having the dumbest girlfriend on the planet." Later that day, my sister Brianna messaged me. "You okay?" Mom's freaking out. Also, Deborah's out here defending her daughter like she's the Virgin Mary. I just texted back, "Tell her I'm fine. Just watching the world burn in real time." I kept refreshing her profile, half expecting her to make another statement. And she did. An Instagram story with a black background and white text. People are so cruel. Max and I are happy. Not everyone needs to know our business. Stop bullying me. Right. Because announcing your fake pregnancy to the entire internet was definitely private business. Ramirez looked at me and said, "So what are you gonna do, man?" I shrugged. "Nothing. Not yet. Let her dig. And she did. Hard. That night, I sat on my bunk, reading through everything again. The photos, the captions, Deborah's comment, Drake's name. Every piece screamed disaster. I was impressed. It takes a special kind of stupid to plan a baby trap while your boyfriend's in another continent. I laughed to myself, locked my phone, and leaned back. Guess autocorrect made her 3 months pregnant while I was eating dust in the desert. Tomorrow, I'd find out just how deep this mess really went. Tomorrow came fast. I woke up to my phone buzzing nonstop again. Somehow, Riley had managed to make things worse overnight. She posted another story confession, this time longer, full of dramatic language and fake sincerity. To everyone spreading rumors, please stop. I made a small typo in my announcement. I'm only 3 weeks along, not 3 months. My boyfriend Max and I were together recently during his last leave. He's making jokes in the comments because that's our relationship. Please be kind. Pregnancy is emotional enough already. She even added that classic line people use when they're caught lying. It's been a stressful time, I just want positivity. I stared at it, deadpan. Positivity, huh? Pretty sure that's what her test showed too. Ramirez was sitting across from me, sipping instant coffee. I handed him my phone. She posted again. He read it, then snorted. 3 weeks? Bro, she looked like she swallowed a volleyball in those pictures. Exactly, I said. If that's 3 weeks, I'm 3 weeks from retiring. The comments were brutal this time. No one was buying it. Girl, that's not a bump. That's a trimester. She's trying to speedrun motherhood. Imagine thinking soldiers can teleport home. Every reply tore her fake story apart. It was spreading faster than before. By noon, she turned off comments and locked her account again. For about 2 hours, it was quiet. Then she went live. I almost didn't watch, but Brianna texted me. Go look at her story. You'll thank me later. So I did. The screen loaded to Riley sitting in her car, fake tears running down her face, mascara smudged just enough to look real. Her voice shook the way someone's does when they're trying to cry on purpose. I can't believe the internet is bullying me, she said, between fake sniffles. Max has no idea how hard it's been being a military girlfriend. He's never here for me. He's emotionally cold and distant, and I've had to do everything alone. I laughed so loud Ramirez turned around. She went on, dragging my name like she was auditioning for a reality show. When someone's deployed, people don't see the emotional damage it causes. I was basically a single girlfriend. I was hurting. Then she said it. Drake understands me in a way Max never could. Silence. Even the chat paused for a second before exploding with comments. Who's Drake? Girl, you just said Drake. She blinked fast, clearly realizing what she'd done. Her eyes darted side to side like she was trying to find an escape hatch. Drake's my therapist? She stammered. Yeah, my therapist, Drake. We've been doing online sessions. That's all I meant. The chat didn't buy it. Someone commented, therapists don't usually get their clients pregnant, hun. Another said, so your therapist has a baby shower registry? She ended the live abruptly, probably realizing the hole she'd just dug. 10 minutes later, my sister Brianna sent me a screen recording. In case she tries to delete it, you're welcome. I watched it twice, each time funnier than the last. My girlfriend had just confessed to cheating live on Instagram and tried to fix it with a lie worse than the first one. Then came the message that sealed it all. A ping from Jade, Riley's best friend, the one who was always around when we lived together, the one who defended Riley no matter what. Her message started with, I can't do this anymore. I knew right away it was about Riley. She wrote, I told her this was stupid. She's been with Drake since May. She said you'd never find out because you're overseas. I'm sorry. I didn't want to get involved. I just sat there reading it, letting it sink in. Drake, my neighbor, the guy I asked to keep an eye on her while I was gone, who shook my hand and said, don't worry, bro, I got her back. Yeah, he had her back. And her front. I typed back to Jade. Appreciate it. Guess my neighbor's been taking out more than my trash. I started backing up every screenshot, saving every message. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was calm, calculated, like a soldier on a mission, just a different kind of battlefield. Ramirez looked at me across the room. You good, bro? Yeah, I said. I'm great. What are you gonna do? I grinned. Wait, let her think she's winning. She's loud. Loud people always mess up first. And she did. Every post, every live, every lie, she was burying herself. While the internet laughed, I sat there in my bunk, scrolling through screenshots, already planning my next move. My therapist neighbor and his client had no idea what was coming. Tomorrow, I'd start digging deeper. Because if Riley thought lying about a baby would trap me, she forgot who she was dealing with. I'm a soldier. I don't lose battles. I just wait for the right time to strike. So when I woke up the next morning and saw a Facebook notification from Drake Morrison, I already knew it was going to be something stupid. The man couldn't spell responsibility if you spotted him the first 10 letters, and now he apparently had the guts to text me directly. Hey bro, I know this looks bad, but you need to understand something. Riley was lonely. You left her alone for months. What did you expect? I was there for her when you weren't. The baby deserves a father who's present. Be the bigger man and let her go. I'll take care of them. He really sent that. Like he was the hero of some discount romance movie. I read it twice, then laughed so loud the guy in the next bunk asked what was wrong. Nothing, I said. Just got a message from a guy who thinks he can raise another man's girlfriend and call it charity work. I screenshotted the entire thing, timestamp and all. Then I sent it to Brianna, my mom, and Ramirez. I captioned it, "Found the village idiot." Ramirez texted back, "Bro's unemployed and suddenly talking about fatherhood? He can't even father a houseplant." That was true. Drake was the kind of guy who borrowed my tools, my lawnmower, and once even asked to borrow my Wi-Fi password because adulting is expensive. He always had a new business idea that went nowhere. One week it was flipping sneakers. The next it was a YouTube channel called Grind Minded. He recorded motivational videos about discipline while living rent-free in his mom's old apartment. Riley used to call him sweet. I used to call him a walking unpaid bill. And now he wanted me to let her go. I didn't even reply. I didn't need to. Instead, I uploaded the screenshot into my deployment group chat. Within minutes, it spread like wildfire. A few buddies turned it into a meme. When you steal another man's girl but still want him to pay for the baby. My mom called later that day. "Max, you won't believe this," she said. "Deborah called me." I sighed. Of course she did. What did she want? Mom's voice dropped low, like she was embarrassed just repeating it. She said you abandoned Riley and that the baby needs a stable father. Apparently Drake is that father now, and she thinks you should support them financially since you make good money in the army. I actually laughed. So she wants me to pay him to raise his own kid? Pretty much. Luckily, my mom recorded the call. When she played it back, I almost couldn't believe how delusional Deborah sounded. Deborah sent, "Your son needs to man up. He left my daughter all alone. She had needs, emotional and otherwise." Mom replied, "He was deployed, Deborah." Deborah added, "That's not an excuse." Drake stepped up. "He's been like a husband to her." Mom ended her with, "You mean while she still had a boyfriend?" Deborah, being more entitled, replied, "Details don't matter. What matters is, the baby needs support. Details don't matter." That should have been their family motto. I told Mom to block her. She said she already had. That night, I got another email, this time from an actual lawyer. The address looked sketchy as hell, like it was made on a free email site. The subject line, "Legal notice, immediate action required." Inside was the most ridiculous list I've ever seen. Monthly support payments for emotional distress. Half the value of their house. My house, bought years before I even met Riley. Continued health insurance coverage. A written apology for public humiliation. $10,000 for baby supplies. I forwarded it straight to my JAG officer. The man laughed so hard he actually wiped tears from his face. "Let me get this straight," he said between breaths. "She's demanding benefits for a baby you couldn't have possibly fathered because you were halfway around the world?" "Exactly." He shook his head. "She's insane. Don't worry, specialist. If she pushes this, she's getting laughed out of court." A few hours later, Riley herself posted something again. A new photo, black and white, emotional music, holding her belly with the caption, "Some men run when things get hard. Real men stay and build." Guess Drake finally found a use for those grind-minded speeches. I just kept saving everything. Every post, every comment, every message. At this point, she was writing my defense for me. Later that night, Drake posted something too. A picture of him with a wrench in his hand, captioned, "Fixing what others broke." Bro, you don't even know how to fix a faucet. I scrolled through the comments. His bots hyping him up, calling him a real man for stepping in. I almost felt bad for them. Almost. Then I got another message from Jade. "Deborah's telling everyone you ghosted Riley," she said. "She's saying you promised to marry her and then disappeared." I replied, "Yeah, disappeared into a war zone." She sent back, "I know. It's crazy. Riley's convinced herself you'll come crawling back once you see the baby." That was the funniest part. They still thought I'd want to come back to that mess. I stayed calm, but inside I was already planning. Paperwork, legal prep, property proof, everything. They were playing checkers while I was setting up a chessboard. Over the next week, I made sure every base official who handled personal affairs had documentation that Riley and I were not married, not engaged, and that she was not on my benefits. I even filed an official note saying she might attempt fraud. JAG reviewed it and stamped it. Good move, they said. She can't use your name for anything now. Perfect. I wasn't angry anymore. I was entertained. Watching Riley post love quotes about her man while Drake reposted job listings he'd never apply for was like streaming the dumbest reality show of all time. Meanwhile, Deborah kept calling my mom, leaving voicemails like, "Your son's ruining a family. That baby needs two parents." Yeah, too bad both of them are idiots. By the end of the week, I had every piece of evidence I needed saved, dated, and backed up twice. Screenshots of Riley's posts, Drake's messages, Deborah's recordings, even the fake lawyer's email. They thought they were playing me. They had no idea I'd already built a case strong enough to crush them with paperwork alone. I looked at my folder full of files and grinned. She wants me to pay child support for a baby conceived while I was dodging sandstorms? Yeah, okay. Next step, go home and finish this face-to-face. A week later, I was on a flight headed back to the States on emergency leave. I didn't tell anyone except my CO. The whole way home, I kept thinking about what I'd find waiting for me. I was ready, tired of watching the circus from afar. I'd been patient long enough. Time to clean house. When I landed, I went straight from the airport to my house. My heart was pounding. Not from nerves, but anticipation. The locksmith I'd scheduled before I even left base was already waiting outside. "You the owner?" he asked. "Yep," I said. "And it's about to be just me again." When the door opened, the smell hit first. Cheap perfume, air freshener, and something burnt. The living room looked like an entirely different house. My neat setup was gone, replaced with chaos. Drake's gaming chair sat dead center like it was his throne. Wires everywhere, half-eaten food on my coffee table, a blanket on my couch that definitely wasn't mine. Then I saw it, hanging right above the TV, Future Mr. and Mrs. Morrison in gold letters. His last name. My name wasn't anywhere. The walls were filled with framed baby photos from the ultrasound, little notes with captions like, "Can't wait to meet you, DJ." I stopped for a second. DJ. I didn't know what it meant until I read one sticky note on the fridge, Baby Drake Jr., a KADJ blue heart. I actually laughed. "DJ," I said out loud. "What's that stand for? Drake's jobless?" Moving on, I walked to the bedroom. That's when my patience snapped. My clothes were pushed to one side. His motivational posters were all over my wall. Hustle, grind, never quit. Big talk from a guy who quits jobs faster than milk spoils. While I was gathering my stuff, I noticed a notebook shoved halfway under the bed. I pulled it out. Pink cover, floral design, my pregnancy journey. I opened it, expecting cringy love notes. What I found made me grin like a man holding checkmate. Page after page, she'd written about her plans. When she found out she was pregnant in July, how she told Drake immediately, and the line that sealed everything. Drake says we should wait until Max is deployed longer so he can't contest anything. Military guys get screwed in court. This baby will secure the bag. She actually wrote secure the bag. I took photos of every single page, front and back. Then I sat down at my own desk and waited. About an hour later, I heard keys jingling at the door. Voices, her laugh, his mumbling. They walked in carrying grocery bags, mid-conversation. I told Mom, "Max is not coming back until Christmas, we're fine." Riley stopped cold when she saw me sitting there. Her face drained of color. "Max?" I smiled. "Surprise. Miss me?" Drake froze behind her, holding a paper bag like it was a shield. He looked like a kid caught stealing cookies. "Bro, I can explain," he stammered. I stood. "You really can't. But go ahead. Let's hear it." Riley immediately turned on her fake waterworks, stepping forward like we were in a movie. "Baby, you're home. I've been so scared. Drake was just helping you?" I cut in. "Yeah, I read your pregnancy journal. Great plot, by the way." Her jaw dropped. You went through my stuff? My house. My stuff, my right." Drake tried to puff his chest. "Hey man, no need to be disrespectful. We're all adults here." "Adults?" I laughed. "You're unemployed, living in my house with my girlfriend, raising your own baby. The only adult thing you've done is call yourself one." He turned red. "Technically, it's her house too. She's been living here." "Not on paper it isn't," I interrupted. "Her name's not on the deed, the bills, nothing." Riley's tone changed instantly, from fake soft to full-on entitled. "That's financial abuse. I've been here 2 years. I have rights. Yeah, the right to leave. She pulled out her phone, hit speaker. Mom! He's here. He's kicking me out while I'm pregnant. Deborah's voice blasted through the phone. Put him on. Max, you will provide for that baby. Do you hear me? I'm not discussing this with you, ma'am, I said calmly. And I'm not paying for another man's kid. You will make the sergeant pay, she snapped. Drake can't work because of his back. I sighed. Not a sergeant, ma'am, but close enough. Also, his back seemed fine when he was in my bed, I said flatly. Riley gasped. You're cruel. Just factual. Within minutes, she'd called the cops. 2 officers showed up, calm and professional. I explained the situation, showed my paperwork, the deed, the bills, my deployment records, the screenshots, and yes, the journal. The officers flipped through everything, taking notes. One looked at Riley and Drake. Ma'am, this is his legal property. You're not on the deed, and your name isn't on any utilities or mail here. Riley crossed her arms. I've lived here 2 years. I have rights. That makes this a civil matter, the officer said. But since you have no proof of tenancy, it's trespass for now. We'll document this and advise him to start formal eviction. He turned to me. Sir, you can give them a short grace period to gather belongings under our standby. After that, file eviction paperwork at the courthouse if they return. Got it, I said. Riley's jaw dropped. You're letting him throw out a pregnant woman? The officer sighed. He's not throwing you out, ma'am. He's giving you 24 hours and a police standby. That's more than most would. He held up her journal. Especially considering this line about securing the bag. She froze. The fight drained right out of her. She dropped to her knees and started wailing, full toddler tantrum mode. You can't do this. You can't. Drake stood there silently, staring at the floor. Even the cops looked bored. One muttered, Ma'am, please get up. You're pregnant. I just leaned against the wall, arms crossed, calm as ever. Watching them pack their mess was like watching clowns deflate. Drake tried to lift his gaming chair and almost tripped over the cord. Riley kept muttering about toxic men and karma. Once they were finally out, I changed the locks and called a cleaning service. The last thing I said as they walked down the driveway was simple. You thought I'd come home crying. I came home with a locksmith. And just like that, my house was mine again. By the next morning, Riley and Drake had relocated to Deborah's 1-bedroom apartment. 3 adults, 1 unborn baby, 0 logic. According to Brianna, who still followed Riley's burner account for the entertainment, Deborah was posting family bonding photos that looked more like mugshots. You could practically smell the stress through the screen. Drake was sleeping on an air mattress in the living room. Riley was complaining about the noise. Deborah was complaining about the energy. I guess karma came with paper-thin walls and no central air. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. Chaos doesn't need an audience. 2 days later, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Max, it's Deborah, she said, already angry. You need to let Riley and Drake move back into the house. She's pregnant and stressed, and you've left them with nowhere to go. I leaned back in my chair. That's not my problem. If you don't, I'll sue you for endangering a pregnant woman. I laughed. Good luck with that, Deborah. I've got screenshots, police reports, and a pregnancy journal that says the baby secured the bag. You sure you want to go to court with that? She hung up without another word. That should have been the end of it, but Riley apparently thought persistence was her best trait. 3 days later, I got a call from my stateside unit. I'd checked back in during leave, mostly for routine paperwork, but the duty officer's tone sounded off. Specialist, we've got a situation. I headed over to base. When I walked outside the gate, there she was, Riley, standing at the front gate, visibly pregnant, holding a folder and crying on cue. Security guards were keeping their distance like she was contagious. She says she's your wife, the officer said. I almost laughed. Sir, I'm not married. That woman's not even my fiancé. He raised an eyebrow. Yeah, that's what we figured. She's been here for an hour saying you abandoned her and the baby. Of course she was. I walked closer, keeping my tone calm. Riley, go home. This isn't going to work. Her face twisted. You can't ignore me forever. You have a responsibility. Responsibility for what? I said. The baby that was conceived while I was in another hemisphere? The guards chuckled. Even the officer bit his lip, trying not to laugh. She pointed at her stomach. This is your child? Lady, the gate guard said. He's been deployed for 8 months. She blinked, clearly not expecting anyone to know basic math. Ma'am, the officer said finally, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're causing a disturbance. Riley started crying harder, like she was auditioning for a soap opera. This is emotional abuse. They escorted her off base while she screamed about going to the media. Meanwhile, Drake wasn't doing so well. His mom, Catherine, had finally found out. Apparently, she saw the viral posts and called me herself. Max, she said, her voice shaking with embarrassment. I am so sorry. I raised him better than this. He told me he was dating someone, but I didn't know it was your girlfriend. I'm disgusted. Don't worry, ma'am, I said. He's learning consequences. She sighed. He's been living in my rental property without paying rent. I'm evicting him. Smart move. And just like that, Drake lost his last safety net. Catherine posted a public statement online a few days later. To clarify, I do not support my son's actions or his relationship with Riley. He has been asked to vacate my property. That one went viral too. I think even Riley's fake therapist couldn't have helped her through that level of public humiliation. With nowhere else to go, they tried to get creative. Jade sent me the link one evening with a, "You gotta see this." It was a GoFundMe titled, "Help a Struggling Military Family. Abandoned Pregnant Woman Needs Support." The description said, after being abandoned by her deployed partner, Riley is raising her baby alone with the help of her loving boyfriend Drake. They've lost their home and have nowhere to go. Every dollar helps this future family rebuild. I had to give them credit. Lying was the only thing they ever did with full effort. The page had a photo of them sitting on Deborah's couch. Riley was holding her stomach like a movie poster. Drake sitting beside her, looking like he just remembered rent was due. Goal: $25,000. Amount raised: $12. Then I noticed the last line of their description. Every dollar will go toward baby supplies and legal fees for Riley's fight for justice. Justice? The woman faked a pregnancy timeline like it was an algebra problem. So I did what any reasonable man would do. I left a comment. Here's some evidence for your legal case. Riley's original post from when she announced her 3-month pregnancy, while I'd been deployed 8. Do the math. He attached screenshot and hit post. It took about 10 minutes before the GoFundMe disappeared. Jade messaged me laughing so hard she couldn't type properly. You just Thanos snapped their scam. Within hours, people were sharing my comment across every platform. The consensus was universal. Don't mess with someone who's got military-grade receipts. Later that night, I scrolled through my photos one last time. Riley's posts, Drake's messages, Deborah's threats. It all looked like a bad movie that finally ended. Their fundraiser had vanished, their reputations torched, and their perfect family reduced to living off Deborah's patience and whatever Drake could steal from his mom's pantry. I closed my phone, leaned back, and smiled. Their fundraiser made enough to buy DJ a pack of diapers and maybe a clue. I thought that would be the last I'd hear from them for a while. Turns out, delusion doesn't have an off switch. A few weeks later, I got an email from the Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System, the Benefits Office. The subject line, Spousal Verification Inquiry. At first, I thought it was spam. Then I opened it. Dear Specialist Kennedy, we have received an application for dependent benefits under your name. Applicant, Riley Brooks. Claimed relationship, common law spouse. I just stared at my screen. Common law spouse? We'd never been married. We'd never even been engaged. The only ring she had was the one she bought for herself and posted online with the caption, treating myself because I deserve it. I called the benefits office immediately. Yeah, I'm gonna need to report attempted fraud. The woman on the phone laughed softly. I figured as much, sir. The claim says you two have been cohabiting for 3 years. That's funny, I said, because for 8 of those months, I was living in a desert halfway across the world while she was playing house with my neighbor. She snorted. Please email us any proof you have. So I did. Screenshots, deployment records, even that post of hers bragging about buying her own ring. I included the caption where she literally wrote, Independent Queen. Don't need a man. Claim denied within 24 hours. A week later, Riley got exactly what she deserved. A letter from Base Legal. Turns out Deers flagged her claim as suspicious and sent it straight to the legal office. They reviewed it and issued her an official written warning for attempted benefits fraud. How do I know? Because she posted it. She uploaded a photo of the letter to Instagram with the caption, Persecuted for loving a soldier, America is broken. Yeah, America's broken all right, mostly because you keep trying to scam it. Meanwhile, Drake's downfall had officially gone from entertaining to pathetic. His name was everywhere thanks to the screenshots I'd posted months earlier. Apparently, every employer who Googled his name found it. Jade texted me. He's been turned down from 4 jobs already. Even Walmart said no. I checked Facebook just to see for myself. His page was full of vague posts like, people love to tear others down when they're trying to build. Yeah, bro. Hard to build when you use someone else's foundation. Riley's family was getting sick of her. Deborah stopped defending her online, probably because her landlord complained about the constant drama. By then, Riley was about 7 months pregnant and realizing her real man couldn't even pay for prenatal vitamins. But instead of facing that reality, she decided to look for another one. Enter Liam, a 45-year-old divorced dad she met on Tinder. I wouldn't have believed it if Liam hadn't messaged me himself. "Hey man," he wrote. "You don't know me, but I went on a date with your ex." Just wanted to say, "What did you even see in her?" He attached screenshots of their conversation. Riley's profile picture was the same recycled pregnancy shoot, captioned "glowing and grateful." Her bio said, "pregnant and proud." Looking for a real man who understands responsibility. In their messages, she'd asked Liam to come over for dinner. 10 minutes into the meal, she apparently started talking about building a family and raising DJ together. He told her he thought she meant a dog. She said, "No, Drake Jr." Liam replied, "So you're naming the baby after your ex who you cheated with on your first ex?" She apparently smiled and said, "Yeah, DJ, it sounds cute, right?" Then came the kicker. She asked if he'd consider adopting the baby after it's born. On the first date, Liam said she even asked to see his bank statements to prove he was serious about being a provider. He left before dessert. He told me, "I don't know what kind of soap opera you escaped from, man, but congratulations." I sent him a thumbs up emoji and said, "You dodged more than dessert, my friend." Riley posted about that too. Men are afraid of strong women with standards. Yeah, strong women don't usually go shopping for stepdads before the baby's born. By now, the whole town knew their story. People at the grocery store whispered when she walked by. Drake stayed home most days, claiming he was focusing on his mental health. Translation: avoiding eye contact with everyone who knew. I couldn't have planned karma any better if I tried. Watching them burn themselves out while I stayed quiet was the best revenge of all. I said it once and I'll say it again. Imagine asking a dude to be a stepdad before the baby's even born. That's speedrunning bad decisions. By the time February rolled around, Riley was nearly due. Her posts had slowed down. I didn't think about her much anymore. I was back to routine, working, running, sleeping, actually living again. But one morning, Brianna sent me a message that just said, "You're gonna love this." Attached was a screenshot from Facebook. Riley's latest post, "Welcome to the world, my beautiful baby boy Drake Jr. DJ, mommy's everything." DJ, she really did it. The comments were wild. Half her old followers congratulating her, the other half roasting her. "DJ, like a party DJ?" One guy wrote. Another, "That baby's first word's gonna be wump wump." But the best part? Neither Drake nor Deborah were tagged. Turns out neither of them was there. She tried calling Drake. He didn't pick up. She texted Deborah. No response. The nurses helped her fill out paperwork, and she listed father as Drake Morrison, unconfirmed. 3 days later, Drake finally showed up, walked right into her hospital room, holding a bouquet of wilted gas station flowers and said, "Are you sure it's mine? It doesn't look like me." That's apparently when the screaming started. Riley threw the flowers, screamed about betrayal and abandonment, then demanded a DNA test. The nurses had to step in and calm her down. She accused Drake of being just like Max, whatever that meant, and started yelling about real men taking responsibility. Drake yelled back that she probably didn't even know who the father was. They kicked him out before the fight could turn into a full-blown scene. And the nurses? They talked. Small-town hospitals always do. Within a week, the story was everywhere. The part nobody saw coming? Turns out Riley had been texting another guy the whole pregnancy, a dude named Joe. Some guy she met online after Drake's meltdown. Jade sent me the proof, screenshots of flirty messages. Joe lived in another state, had no idea about Drake, and ghosted her the second she mentioned the baby. When Drake found out, that was it. He packed up his stuff, or what little he had, and left. No dramatic goodbye, no explanation. Just gone. Deborah tried to spin the situation, claiming life's been unfair to her daughter. No one listened. Even her own friends stopped entertaining her calls. A few months later, I heard Riley was working at a mall kiosk selling phone cases. The irony was beautiful. She used to brag about being a military wifey, and now she was trying to convince teenagers to buy sparkly cases for half off. Drake was still dishwashing in another state, apparently fighting with his manager daily. They blocked each other on social media, but couldn't stop talking trash. Riley blamed him for leaving her in poverty. Drake blamed her for ruining his reputation. They deserved each other, but couldn't even manage that. Me? I was done. Completely free. Life went back to normal. Better than normal. Peaceful, simple, drama-free. Months later, I got a notification. Riley had unblocked me just to send a message. "I hope you're happy. You ruined my life." I stared at it for a second, smiled, and replied, "Whose life then?" Then I blocked her again. That was the final message. No more fake claims. No more sob stories. No more scams. The circus finally left town. A few weeks later, Jade sent me one last update. Riley was still living with Deborah, trying to sue Drake for child support he couldn't afford, while DJ's first word had just been mama. His second word, broke. Even the kid knows. They played stupid games, the math didn't math, and neither did their plan. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.